The huge meeting room on Nexus Prime Space Station was very quiet. Too quiet. Lee Tae-ho sat in his chair and looked around at all the alien faces staring at him. Some had big eyes. Some had no eyes at all. Some looked like giant bugs. Others looked like walking rocks. All of them wanted the same thing. They wanted humans to give up. Tae-ho was the main speaker for Earth. He had been coming to these meetings for 3 years. 3 long years of talking and arguing and getting nowhere. Next to him sat Park Min-soo, who knew all about fighting and wars. On his other side was Kim So-young, who studied aliens and how they lived. The room had 47 different alien races in it. They all belonged to something called the Galactic Council. The council made rules for everyone in space. They decided who could go where and what they could do. But humans were different. Humans did not like being told what to do. The big bug alien stood up. It was from a race called the Vorthak. Its voice sounded like metal scraping on metal when it talked. The council has made its decision, the bug alien said. Humans must follow our rules. You must stop building new homes on planets. You must give us your fast ships. You must let us control your smart machines. Other aliens nodded, their heads. Some made clicking sounds. Others hummed in agreement. The bug alien kept talking. Every race that joins our big family does this. It is normal. It keeps peace in space. Tae-ho listened to all of this. He had heard it many times before. The aliens always said the same things. Follow our rules. Give up your freedom. Be like everyone else. An old alien that looked like a tall, thin tree spoke next. This was the Chancellor of the Zephyrians. His people had been in charge of the council for a very long time. Human Tae-ho, the tree alien said in a voice like wind through leaves. Your people are young. You do not understand how things work in space. We have kept peace for 3,000 years. Our way is the right way. More aliens agreed. They made different sounds, but they all meant the same thing. Humans should give up and do what they were told. Tae-ho stood up slowly. The room got even quieter. All eyes and sensors and whatever aliens used to see turned to look at him. Thank you, Tae-ho said. His voice was calm and clear. Thank you for telling us exactly what you want. He picked up his papers and put them in his bag. The United Earth Coalition has an answer for you, he said. We say no. The room exploded with noise. Aliens screeched and roared and made sounds that hurt human ears. Some hit the table with their arms or claws or tentacles. Others stood up so fast their chairs fell over. The tree alien raised one long arm. Slowly, the noise stopped. You cannot mean this, the Chancellor said. No race says no to the Council. It is not done. Tae-ho looked around the room one more time. He saw fear in some alien faces, anger in others. A few looked confused, like they could not believe what they were hearing. We came here to be friends, Tae-ho said. We wanted to work together. We wanted to trade with you and learn from you. We offered to help protect your worlds if anyone attacked them. He started walking toward the door. Park Min-soo and Kim So-young got up and followed him. Instead, Tae-ho continued as he walked. You spent 3 years trying to figure out how to put us in a cage. You want to take away our ships, you want to control our computers, you want to tell us where we can live and where we cannot go. The bug alien made a loud buzzing sound. You must obey. All races obey. Tae-ho stopped walking. He turned around and looked right at the bug alien. Maybe that is your problem, he said. Maybe you have been in charge so long you forgot that some people do not want to be slaves. The word slaves made the room go completely silent. It was a bad word to use. Everyone knew it. We are not making you slaves, the tree alien said. Quickly. We are bringing order. We are keeping peace. By taking away our freedom, Kim So-young spoke for the first time. Her voice was quiet, but everyone could hear her. By making us weak, so you feel safe. Your weapons are dangerous, another alien said. This one looked like a giant sea creature. Your ships are too fast. Your machines think too much. These things scare other races. Park Min-soo laughed. It was not a happy laugh. Everything scares you, he said. That is why you want to make everyone the same, weak and slow and easy to control. The aliens started making noise again. They did not like being called scared. Teho held up his hand. The humans were almost at the door now. We tried to do this the nice way, he said. We sat in your meetings. We listened to your complaints. We answered all your questions. We even agreed to some of your silly rules. He looked around the room, one last time. But you want everything. You want us to give up being human. That will never happen. The big bug alien stood up again. Its voice was even more angry now. If you leave, you are enemies of the Council. We will stop your ships. We will attack your worlds. Teho smiled. It was not a nice smile. You can try, he said. Park Minsu stopped at the door. He turned around and looked at all the aliens. Oh, one more thing, he said. You might want to check your space sensors. Look around your important worlds. Check your trade routes. Some aliens looked confused. Others looked worried. We have not been sitting here doing nothing for 3 years, Park Minsu continued. While you talked and argued and made threats, we were getting ready. Ready for what? The tree alien asked. Park Minsu's smile was even less nice than Teho's. Ready for you to say no, he said. The 3 humans walked out of the room. Behind them, the aliens started making noise again. Lots of noise. Angry noise. Scared noise. In the hallway, Kim So-young looked at her 2 friends. Do you think they will check their sensors? She asked. Oh yes, Teho said. They will check. And then they will panic. Good, Park Minsu said. Let them panic. They had 3 years to be reasonable. Now they get to see what happens when you corner a human. The 3 of them walked to their ship. It was a small, fast ship called the Soul Wind. As they got ready to leave, Teho sent a message back to Earth. Phase 1 complete, he said into his communicator. The Council said no to peace. Time for Phase 2. Far away on Earth, President Nam Ji-woo got the message. She had been waiting for it. She knew it would come. The aliens were too proud and too scared to accept humans as equals. Now the real work would begin. The Galactic Council thought they knew everything about humans. They thought humans were just another young race that would bow down and obey. They were about to learn how wrong they were. In space stations and hidden bases all across the galaxy, other humans got the same message. Phase 1 was over. Phase 2 was about to start. The aliens wanted to see what humans could do when they were angry. They were about to find out. The alarm started ringing 2 hours after the humans left. On Nexus Prime Space Station, the tree alien chancellor sat in his office. His name was very long and hard to say, so everyone just called him Chancellor. He was reading reports on his computer screen. Each report made him more worried. The first report came from the Vega system. Council ships there had found something strange. There were new space stations around the planet. Big ones. The humans had built them in secret. The second report was worse. The Kepler system had 3 new human colonies, but these were not normal colonies. They had huge factories and shipyards. They were making spaceships and weapons. The third report made the Chancellor's hands shake. In the Alpha Centauri system, humans had built a massive space fortress. It was bigger than Nexus Prime. It had been there for months, hidden behind an asteroid field. The Chancellor called his assistant. Get me General Yoon, he said. Right now. General Yoon Hye-jin was the head of Council Security Forces. She was not human, but she looked almost like one. Her people were called the Corvani. They had blue skin and silver eyes, but they were shaped like humans. Yoon came to the Chancellor's office quickly. She looked at the reports on his desk. How many? She asked. 23 new defensive systems, the Chancellor said. 12 industrial complexes, 6 hidden military bases, all built while we were talking to them. Yoon sat down hard in a chair. That is impossible. Our spy networks would have seen them building these things. Apparently not, the Chancellor said. He was trying to stay calm, but his voice was getting higher. They were smarter than us. They hid everything while their diplomats smiled and pretended to negotiate. More reports kept coming in. Each one was worse than the last. On Earth, President Nam Ji-woo stood in the war room deep under the capital city. Around her were the leaders of Earth's military and space forces. On the big screen in front of them was a map of the galaxy. Red dots showed council worlds. Blue dots showed human worlds. There were a lot more blue dots than the council expected. Phase 2 is working perfectly, said Admiral Choi Dong-min. He commanded the human space navy. All our hidden bases are online, all our defensive systems are ready. Admiral Choi was a big man with gray hair and scars on his face from old battles. He had been fighting in space for 30 years. He knew how to win wars. What about our new friends? President Nam asked. The Altarians have agreed to join us, said Ambassador Shin Woo-jin. They are tired of the Council's trade rules. The Council takes 60% of everything they make. President Nam smiled. The Altarians were a small race, but they were good at making things. They also controlled 3 important trade routes. The Rigelians are interested too, Shin continued. And the Tau Cetians sent a secret message. They want to meet. Back on Nexus Prime, the Council was having an emergency meeting. All 47 races were there. Many of them were very angry. The big bug alien was making loud buzzing sounds. This is war, it said. The humans have lied to us. They have built secret armies. Other aliens agreed. They made clicking and roaring sounds, but General Yoon was studying the reports more carefully. Something worried her. Look at where they built these bases, she said to the Chancellor. They are not random places. Each base guards a trade route or protects a weak spot in our defenses. The Chancellor looked at the map. Yoon was right. The humans had not just built bases everywhere. They had built them in exactly the right places. They have been planning this for years, Yoon said quietly. Maybe since the first day they met us, on a human trade ship called the Busan Merchant, Captain Kang Min-ho was having the best day of his life. For 3 years, he had been secretly trading with planets outside Council space. Now he did not have to hide anymore. This is Captain Kang to all ships in the Kepler system, he said on the radio. The Council says they will punish us with trade sanctions. That means they will not buy our goods or sell us theirs. He started, laughing. Too bad we do not need them anymore. We have been building our own trade network. We have our own buyers and sellers. The Council can keep their overpriced junk. Other human traders across space heard his message. They started laughing too. For years, the Council had controlled all trade in the galaxy. They decided prices. They decided who could buy what. They took huge fees from everyone. But humans had been quietly building something different. They called it the Shadow Network. While the Council was busy arguing about human weapons, humans were making friends with independent worlds. Small planets that were tired of Council rules. Colonies that wanted to trade freely. Mining stations that were sick of paying huge taxes. The Shadow Network had hundreds of members now. They traded with each other in secret. They helped each other. They did not need the Council anymore. On a planet called Altair Prime, an alien, leader named Vex was reading the news about the human walkout. Vex looked like a large blue lizard. His people had been part of the Council for 50 years. 50 years of following rules that helped everyone except them. Vex made a decision. He called his assistant. Send a message to the humans, he said. Tell them the Altarian Republic wants to talk. The same thing was happening on other worlds. The Council had always said that everyone needed them to survive, but humans had proved that was not true. There were other ways to live in space. General Yoon was in her command center when the first defection happened. An aide ran up to her with a message pad. General, the aide said, the Altarians have left the Council. They signed a treaty with the humans. Yoon felt cold. If one race could leave, others might follow. Send more ships to watch the human systems, she ordered. We need to know what they are really planning. But it was too late for that. The humans had been planning for 3 years. They were already several steps ahead. On the human space station called New Seoul, Dr. Oh Jae-won was working with his team to write treaties. These were agreements between humans and other races who wanted to join them. The human treaties were very different from Council membership. The council made races give up their freedom. The human treaties let everyone keep their independence. Article 1, Dr. O dictated to his computer. All member races are equal partners. No race rules over any other race. Article 2, Technology. Sharing is voluntary. No one can be forced to give up their inventions. Article 3, Military cooperation is based on mutual help. No one can be forced to fight someone else's war. It was the opposite of everything the council stood for. By the end of the day, 3 more races had contacted the humans about joining their new alliance. The council's 1,000-year control over the galaxy was starting to crack. The chancellor sat in his dark office late that night. The reports kept coming in. More defections, more human bases discovered, more proof that his people had completely underestimated their opponents. They were never trying to negotiate, he said to himself. They were buying time. Time to build, time to prepare, time to make friends. The humans had played a perfect game. While the council argued about rules and restrictions, humans were creating an alternative, a way to live in space without bowing to alien masters. Tomorrow, the chancellor would have to tell the council the truth. The humans were not just leaving, they were taking others with them. The great Galactic order was falling apart, and it had taken the humans only 3 years to do it. The council voted at sunrise. 44 races raised their hands or claws or tentacles to say yes. 3 races said no. The Altarians had already left, so they could not vote at all. The human race is now an enemy of galactic peace, the chancellor announced. We will stop all trade with them. We will block their ships from using our space routes. We will freeze their money in our banks. The bug alien from the Vorthak was very happy. Finally, it buzzed. Now we will show them what happens when you disobey the council. But in space, things were not going as planned. Captain Kang Min-ho of the trading ship Busan Merchant was laughing so hard he could barely fly his ship. He had just heard about the council's trade sanctions on the radio. Attention all human traders, he broadcast on all frequencies. The council says they will not trade with us anymore. Oh no, what will we do? He paused for effect. I guess we will have to keep using our shadow network. You know, the one that already handles 80% of our trade. The one the council never knew about. Other human captains started laughing too. Their voices came over the radio from dozens of different star systems. This is Captain Lee Soo-jin on the Daegu runner. The council can keep their overpriced goods. We have better suppliers now. Captain Park Jun-ho here. My cargo hold is full of Altarian electronics. Much better than council junk, and half the price. The council had expected the sanctions to hurt humans badly. Instead, human trade actually got better. Without council rules and taxes, prices went down and quality went up. But the real shock came 3 days later. Ambassador Shin Woo-jin stood on the deck of the human space station Prosperity. It orbited the planet Rigel Prime. In front of him were 3 alien ambassadors. The first was a tall, thin alien with purple skin. This was Ambassador Kex from the Rigelian Federation. The second looked like a walking tree with golden leaves. This was Envoy Raul from the Tau Ceti Republic. The third was a floating, jellyfish-like creature in a water tank. This was Speaker Nem from the Aquatic Worlds. The Rigelian Federation formally withdraws from the Galactic Council, Ambassador Kex announced. We choose to join the Human Free Systems Alliance. The Tau Ceti Republic also withdraws, said Envoy Raul in a voice like wind chimes. We have voted to join the alliance. The Aquatic Worlds vote to leave the council too, bubbled Speaker Nem from her tank. We want freedom to choose our own path. In one day, 3 more races left the council. The news spread across the galaxy like wildfire. On Nexus Prime, the Bon Chancellor was getting sick, not from disease but from stress. His office was full of angry aliens making loud noises. This is a disaster, roared a rock-like alien from the Silicon Federation. If more races leave, the council will fall apart. We must use military force, buzzed the Vorthak. Show them what happens to rebels. But General Yoon was reading military reports. She did not look happy. Our security fleet is spread across 300 star systems, she told the angry aliens. "We have small patrol groups everywhere, but no large battle fleets. We were never designed to fight a real war." "What about the humans?" asked the Chancellor. "How strong are their military forces?" Yoon put a new report on the table. Everyone leaned forward to read it. "According to our spies, humans have built at least 50 major warships. All of them are new designs with advanced weapons. They also have something called quantum jump drives." "What do those do?" asked the rock alien. "They let ships travel instantly across vast distances. A human ship can attack a target on the other side of the galaxy and be back home before we know what happened." The room got very quiet. "There is more," Yoon continued. "Human ships are controlled by artificial intelligence networks. They can coordinate attacks with perfect timing. One human fleet can fight like it has a single brain controlling all the ships." The Vorthak made an angry buzzing sound. "Impossible! Our ships are bigger and stronger." "Size does not matter if you cannot hit your target," Yoon said quietly. "And if the enemy can appear anywhere at any time." While the council argued, Captain Park Ye-yoon was leading her squadron of human fighters through an asteroid field. Her ships were small and fast, designed for stealth missions. "Ghost Squadron, this is Ghost Leader," she said into her radio. "Target confirmed. Council Supply Depot at coordinates 77 Alpha." Her fighters were invisible to most sensors. They looked like space rocks or floating debris until it was too late. "Remember the mission," Park continued. "Hit the weapons storage, the fuel tanks, and the communication array. Do not hurt any aliens unless they shoot first." The attack was over in 10 minutes. The Council Supply Depot was destroyed, but no aliens were killed. The human fighters vanished back into space before reinforcements arrived. Similar attacks happened across the galaxy that same day. Human strike teams hit Council supply lines in 12 different star systems. They moved like ghosts, striking targets and disappearing. The Council's centralized command system could not keep up. By the time they sent help to one attacked system, the humans had already hit 3 more targets somewhere else. Major Kim Dae-jung was leading a different kind of mission. He commanded 200 human Marines on a secret operation. Their target was the mining world of Kepler 442b. The planet produced rare metals that the Council needed for their ships and weapons. It was defended by only a small garrison of Council soldiers. "Remember," Kim told his Marines as their ships approached the planet, "we are not here to conquer. We are here to liberate. Most of the miners on this world are prisoners or slaves. They will probably help us once they understand we are here to free them." The battle for Kepler 442b lasted 6 hours. The Council garrison was caught completely by surprise. Most of them surrendered without fighting, but the real victory came when the miners learned what the humans offered: freedom to leave, fair wages for their work, a chance to join the Free Systems Alliance as equal partners. By the end of the week, Kepler 442b had voted to become a human protectorate. The rare metal supplies that the Council desperately needed were now in human hands. Dr. O.J. Wan was working 20 hours a day processing applications to join the Alliance. His desk was covered with messages from planets across the galaxy. 15 more worlds have applied for membership, he told President Nam Ji-woo during their daily video call, including 2 Council core worlds. President Nam looked tired but happy. "Core worlds? Which ones?" "Proxima Colony and Wolf 359. Both say they are tired of sending 80% of their production to the Council as taxes." "What about military? Recruitment?" "Better than expected. The Rigelians have a small but very advanced space fleet. The Altarians have excellent engineers. The Tau Cetians have the best pilots in the galaxy after humans. The Alliance was growing stronger every day. More importantly, it was growing faster than the Council could stop it." General Yoon stood in the Council war room, looking at a galaxy map. Red areas showed worlds still loyal to the Council. Blue areas showed human Alliance territory. There was a lot more blue than red now. "We have lost control of 40% of Council space," she reported to the emergency session. "Military production is down 60%. Tax revenue has dropped by half." The Chancellor looked very old suddenly. "How long before complete collapse?" "At this rate? 6 months. maybe less if more core worlds defect. The Vorthak stood up angrily. Then we must attack now before they get stronger. Attack with what? Yoon asked. Half our fleet is busy chasing human raiders. The other half is protecting worlds that might defect. We have no ships available for a major offensive. Then we make them available, the bug alien hissed. Pull. Back all patrols. Gather every warship we have. Crush the humans before this rebellion spreads further. Yoon looked around the room. She saw fear in every alien face. Fear and desperation. That will leave most of our territory undefended, she warned. Good, said the Chancellor. Let the humans see what happens when they challenge the Council. We will show them the full power of our united fleets. It was exactly what the humans had been waiting for. On Earth, Admiral Choi Dong-min received the intelligence report with a smile. The Council was gathering their scattered fleets into one massive armada. They are doing exactly what we predicted, he told his staff, concentrating all their forces for one big battle. Where will they attack, sir? Asked his aide. The Helix Nebula system. It is the most important junction point we control. If they take it back, they can cut our territory in half. The Admiral looked at the star charts on his wall. Send word to Fleet Admiral Bay. Tell him to prepare the main battle. Fleet, the Council wants a decisive battle? His smile got bigger. Let us give them one they will never forget. The Council's war fleet was the largest anyone had ever seen. 412 warships from 30 different races filled the dark space near the Helix Nebula. The ships came in all shapes and sizes. Some looked like giant bugs. Others were shaped like diamonds or spheres or long needles. General Yoon stood on the bridge of the flagship Galactic Unity. It was a massive ship, 5 kilometers long and covered with weapons. Around her, aliens from dozens of races worked at control stations. All fleets report ready, said her aide, a small furry creature with 6 arms. Yoon looked at the tactical display. The human force defending the nebula was much smaller. Only 80 ships showed on her sensors. 80 ships against 400, she said to herself. They must be crazy to fight us here. She was wrong. The humans were not crazy. They were. Smart Fleet Admiral Bae Sung-ho commanded the human fleet from his ship Incheon. It was smaller than the Council flagship, but it was packed with the most advanced technology humans had ever built. All ships, this is Admiral Bae, he said on the fleet communication channel. Remember your training. Trust your AI partners. Fight as one mind with many bodies. Each human ship had an artificial intelligence that could think faster than any organic brain. But more than that, all the AI systems were connected together. They shared information instantly across the entire fleet. When one human ship learned something, all human ships knew it immediately. Enemy fleet moving into attack formation, reported Captain Lim Tae-young from her destroyer Mokpo. Estimate 30 minutes until they reach weapons range. Admiral Bae smiled. Perfect. Begin Phase 1. The human ships suddenly scattered in all directions. To the Council forces, it looked like the humans were running away in panic. General Yoon felt a moment of disappointment. She had expected a real fight. All ships pursue and destroy, she ordered. Do not let them escape. The Council fleet broke formation to chase the fleeing human ships. This was exactly what Admiral Bae wanted. Phase 2, he ordered quietly. 20. Human ships that had been hiding in the nebula's gas clouds suddenly appeared behind the Council fleet. They were stealth ships, invisible until they wanted to be seen. At the same time, the fleeing human ships turned around and attacked. The Council fleet was caught between 2 groups of enemies. But that was not the worst part. The worst part was how the human ships fought. Every human ship moved at exactly the right time to help other human ships. When a Council ship fired at one target, that target was already moving and a different human ship was shooting at the Council ship from behind. The human ships danced through space like they were performing a ballet. They never got in each other's way. They never wasted shots. They fought like they had practiced this exact battle 1,000 times. Captain Park Ye-yoon led her fighter squadron through the chaos of the battle. Her small ships were too fast for the big Council warships to hit. Ghost Squadron, target the command ship's communication array, she ordered. Cut off their ability to coordinate. Her fighters swooped in like angry wasps. Their quantum torpedoes punched through the Council flagship's shields and destroyed its main antenna. Suddenly, General Yoon could not talk to half her fleet. "Backup communications," she shouted to her crew. "Get me contact with the other ships." But it was too late. Without central coordination, the Council fleet began to fall apart. Ship captains made their own decisions. Some tried to retreat, others attacked wildly. Many got in each other's way. The human fleet stayed perfectly coordinated. Major Kim Dae-jung watched the space battle from his marine assault ship. His job was to capture any Council ships that surrendered. "Look at that," he said to his sergeant, pointing at the tactical display. "Their formation is completely broken. They are fighting like 40 separate fleets instead of one big fleet." "Why are our ships so much better?" the sergeant asked. "Training," Kim replied, "and trust. Every human ship captain trusts the AI network to help them. The Council races do not trust each other enough to share that much information." The battle lasted 4 hours. When it was over, the Council had lost 203 ships. The humans lost only 12. The surviving Council ships retreated in disorder. Many were badly damaged. All of them were demoralized. General Yoon sat in her damaged command chair and stared at the tactical display. Half her fleet was gone. The other half was scattered across 3 star systems. "How?" she whispered. "How did they beat us so badly?" Her aide, the small furry creature, looked up from his damaged console. "They were not fighting as separate ships," he said quietly. "They were fighting as one giant organism, like a school of fish or a flock of birds." Yoon understood now. The Council had always been a group of different races working together, but they were still different races with different goals and different ways of thinking. The humans were one race with one goal and one way of fighting. That made them much stronger than their numbers suggested. The news of the Battle of Helix Nebula spread across the galaxy in hours. The mighty Council fleet had been crushed by a much smaller human force. On planets throughout Council space, people heard the news and began to think, if the Council's military could be beaten so easily, maybe the Council was not as powerful as everyone thought. 12 more planets applied to join the Human Alliance that day. Admiral Choi Dong-min was in his office on Earth when the victory reports came in. He was reading casualty lists and damage reports when President Nam Ji-woo called him. "Congratulations, Admiral," she said on the video screen. "A brilliant victory." "Thank you, Madam President. But this is just the beginning. The Council still controls many worlds. They will not give up easily. What is our next move?" Admiral Choi looked at the star map on his wall. Red areas showed remaining Council territory. Blue areas showed Alliance space. "We keep doing what we have been doing," he said, "in small strikes, fast raids. Make them afraid to leave their core systems undefended. And if they try another big attack?" The Admiral smiled grimly. "Then we will beat them again. Each time we win, more races will see that the Council can be defeated. Each victory makes us stronger and them weaker." Captain Kang Min-ho was having the best month of his career. His trading ship was carrying a load of Rigelian electronics to sell on newly liberated worlds. The prices were good and getting better. More importantly, he did not have to pay Council taxes anymore. No more bribes to Council customs officers. No more waiting weeks for permits. No more having his cargo inspected by suspicious aliens. "This is the Busan merchant to all traders in the sector," he broadcast. "The Vega system has officially joined the Alliance. All human ships are welcome at their ports. Fair prices and honest dealing guaranteed." Free trade was spreading as fast as the Alliance itself. Worlds that joined the humans found their economies growing quickly. They could sell their goods for better prices and buy what they needed more cheaply. The Council's economic system was falling apart. On Nexus Prime, the Chancellor sat in an emergency meeting with the remaining Council members. Many chairs were empty now. Too many races had left to join the humans. "We have lost 60% of our territory," reported the Treasury Minister, a blob-like alien that controlled Council finances. "Tax revenue is down 80%. Military spending has bankrupted 12 core worlds. The bug alien from the Vorthak was still angry. We can still win. Gather what ships we have left. Attack their home world. With what? Asked General Yoon. Tiredly. We have maybe 100 functional warships left. The humans have at least 200 now, and they get stronger every day. Then we negotiate, said the Chancellor. We offer them a treaty. Peace in exchange for some territory. The room was quiet for a long moment. They will never accept, Yoon said finally. Why should they? They are winning. Every day they get stronger and we get weaker. In 6 months, they will not need to negotiate with us at all. The Chancellor looked around at the few remaining council members. Once this room had been full of representatives from nearly 50 races. Now barely 20 remained. Then what do you suggest? General Yoon stood up slowly. She looked very tired. I suggest we surrender, she said. Before they decide they do not need any of us alive. The words hung in the air like poison. No one wanted to say them, but everyone knew they were true. The Galactic Council, which had ruled space for 3,000 years, was dying, and the humans had killed it in less than 1 year of actual fighting. The age of human dominance in the galaxy was about to begin. 6 months after the Battle of Helix Nebula, the galaxy looked completely different. President Nam Ji-woo stood on the observation deck of the new space station New Seoul. The station orbited the planet that used to be called Council Central. Now it was called Liberty Prime. Through the big windows she could see ships from 41 different races. They were all working together, building something that had never existed before in the galaxy. A government where everyone was equal. The morning session is ready to begin, Madam President, said her aide. A young human woman named Oh Min-jung Nam walked into the assembly hall. It was huge, with seats for representatives from all the alliance races. But unlike the old council chamber, no one sat higher than anyone else. Every race had the same size seats and the same voice in government. The Altarian representative was a small, blue-skinned alien named Vex. He stood up to speak first. The Altarian Republic reports that our factories are now producing 60% more goods than under council rule, he said. Our people are happier and more prosperous than they have ever been. Applause filled the hall, not just from humans, but from dozens of different races. The Rigelian representative spoke next. She was tall and purple with large, kind eyes. The Rigelian Federation thanks our human allies for sharing their medical technology, she said. Our new hospitals are saving thousands of lives every year. More applause. Ambassador Shin Woo-jin sat in the human diplomatic section, watching the proceedings with satisfaction. He had spent months negotiating the Alliance Charter, the document that explained how their new government would work. The charter was simple. Every race kept control of their own planets. No one could force anyone else to follow their laws or customs. Races could work together on projects, but only if they wanted to. It was the opposite of everything the council had stood for. Dr. O.J. Wan was busy in his office, working on the latest applications to join the alliance. His desk was covered with messages from planets across the galaxy. 17 new worlds this week, he told his assistant, including 3 from the old council core systems. The assistant, a young man named Park Hyun-woo, looked surprised. Core systems, those were the most loyal council worlds. Not anymore, Dr. O said with a smile. When people see what freedom looks like, they want it for themselves. The old council still existed, but barely. They controlled only 15 star systems now, mostly around their original home worlds. The rest of the galaxy had either joined the alliance or declared independence. The former chancellor had been replaced by a military governor. The few remaining council races were now ruled by fear instead of cooperation. Admiral Choi Dong-min was on the bridge of his flagship, reviewing patrol reports. The alliance military was very different from the old council security forces. Instead of one big army controlled by politicians, the alliance had many smaller fleets. Each member race contributed ships and crews, but they could leave any time they wanted. Any trouble from the old council remnants? He asked his aide. Nothing serious, sir. a few raids on border worlds, but our patrol ships drove them off easily. The Admiral nodded. The old council was no longer a real threat. They had too few ships and too little support from their own people. Captain Park Ye-Yun was leading a very different kind of mission. Her squadron was escorting supply ships to the Tau Ceti system. The ships were carrying food and medicine to help rebuild planets damaged in the war. Ghost Squadron, maintain formation, she ordered. We should reach Tau Ceti in 2 hours. But this was not a military mission. It was a humanitarian one. The Alliance did not just fight wars. It helped people. The supply ships were crewed by volunteers from a dozen different races. Humans worked alongside Altarians and Rigelians and many others. They were all united by a common goal, making life better for everyone. On Earth, President Nam was meeting with a very special visitor. Former General Yoon Hye-jin had requested a private audience. Yoon looked older and more tired than before. The war had been hard on everyone, but especially on those who had fought on the losing side. I come to ask for asylum, Yoon said quietly, for myself and my family. Nam studied the former Council General carefully. Yoon had been an honorable enemy. She had fought fairly and treated prisoners well. What happened to the Council? Nam asked. It is dying, Yoon replied. The military government is using fear to control what little territory remains. They execute anyone who speaks against them. I could not serve such a regime any longer, made her decision. The Alliance welcomes anyone who seeks freedom. You and your family may stay on Earth as long as you wish. Yoon's eyes filled with tears. Thank you. I have seen what you have built here. It is better than anything the Council ever achieved. Captain Kang Min-ho was celebrating his most successful year ever. His trading ship had made more profit in 6 months than in the previous 3 years combined. Free trade is the best trade, he said to his crew as they docked at the new station orbiting Rigel Prime. No taxes, no bribes, no waiting for permits. Just honest business between honest people. The station was buzzing with activity. Ships from dozens of races were loading and unloading cargo. The docks were full of traders speaking different languages and making deals. This was what the galaxy looked like when people were free to choose their own path. Dr. Oh Jae-won stood before the Alliance Assembly, presenting his annual report. Free Systems Alliance now includes 41 member races, he announced. Our combined population is over 2 trillion beings. Our economy has grown by 300% since the Alliance was formed. The Assembly applauded loudly. But our greatest achievement is not economic, Dr. Oh continued. It is social. For the first time in galactic history, different races are working together as true equals. We have created something the Council never could, a civilization based on freedom instead of fear. The applause was even louder this time. Later that day, President Nam received a message from the most unexpected source. The former Chancellor of the old Council wanted to meet with her. They met on a neutral space station at the edge of Alliance territory. The Chancellor looked very old and very tired. His tree-like body seemed to be withering. I have come to surrender, he said simply. The remaining Council worlds vote to join the Alliance. We cannot fight anymore. Nam felt a mixture of satisfaction and sadness. Victory was sweet, but she remembered when the Council had been a force for good in the galaxy. The Alliance welcomes all who seek freedom, she said. But there will be conditions. Your people must accept our charter. You must treat all races as equals. And you must help rebuild the worlds damaged by the war. The Chancellor nodded slowly. We accept. We have learned the price of trying to control others. We will not make that mistake again. With that conversation, the last remnants of the old Galactic Council became part of the Free Systems Alliance. War was over. The age of human leadership in the galaxy had begun. But as President Nam often reminded people, it was not human domination they had created. It was human liberation. The difference was everything. On New Sol Station, representatives from 47 races worked together to solve problems and build a better future. They argued sometimes, but they argued as equals. They disagreed, but they respected each other's right to disagree. The old council had demanded obedience. The new alliance asked only for cooperation. The galaxy was finally free. Admiral Choi Dong-min stood on the bridge of his ship, looking out at the stars. Somewhere out there were billions of beings living freely for the first time in their lives. "What are you thinking about, sir?" asked his aide. The admiral smiled. "I am thinking about what comes next. We have freed the galaxy from tyranny. Now we must make sure it stays free." "How do we do that?" "By never forgetting why we fought this war. We did not fight to become the new masters of the galaxy. We fought so that no one would ever be a master again." The aide looked confused. "But humans are the strongest race now. We have the best technology and the biggest fleets." Admiral Choi turned to face the young officer. "Strength is not about having the biggest weapons or the most ships. Real strength comes from having the respect and friendship of others. That is something you cannot take by force. It must be earned." He looked back out at the stars. The council tried to rule through fear and strength. They lasted 3,000 years. "We are going to build something that will last forever, a civilization based on freedom and mutual respect." The aide understood now. The humans had not conquered the galaxy. They had liberated it, and that made all the difference. On worlds throughout the Alliance, children of different races played together in schools. Adults of different species worked together in factories and offices. Families of different backgrounds helped each other and became friends. The galaxy was not perfect. There were still problems and disagreements and challenges, but for the first time in galactic history, these problems were being solved by people working together as equals. The age of the Galactic Council was over. The age of the Free Systems Alliance had begun, and it would last forever.